Are you likable? You got jokes, you're the host, stand up. Are you likable?
Because we're talking.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to Likable, a show where we discuss stand-up comedy from an entry-level perspective. I'm your host, David Stickle, and today I am joined by Padrick Smith.
Hey, how we doing?
You did your intro.
Of course, you gotta
Hey.
you gotta stick to your brand.
Yeah.
No matter where you are,
I love it.
you gotta follow it up.
I love it.
So,
how's it going, buddy?
it's going great.
Yeah,
Yeah, having
we
a
were-
wonderful day, wonderful summer. This is just lovely. You have a lovely town here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a long time coming. I mean, we've been chit chatting for a little bit to
I
make
know,
this
we've been
happen, and
sliding into each other's DMs for quite some time now, flirting with each other on Instagram, and it's nice to hear the Likable being shout out on the.
of course,
Yes, I did a thank you video or thank you pod that I recorded here when I had a guest that canceled last minute, and you guys were featured for that for about 5 minutes because
Oh,
it was just
wow.
me by myself,
Yeah.
and I never put it out because it was a terrible episode.
Yeah.
It was mostly, and honestly, what made me really not put it out was I was thanking Sean Barnes in the Super Salad podcast, and I still can't remember his co-host's name.
Jay Leonard.
Fuck. The thing is, I listened to that pod. I just
Yeah.
can't remember Jay's name.
Yeah.
So in the moment, I'm like, wow, this is terrible. And
That's
I just
why
stopped recording.
You
after
got
that.
to do a hard edit and just be like Jay Leonard.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound anything like
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
that's being recorded.
It's actually just an Asian guy. Don't do it. You can't.
Oh, you saw my face? You saw-
Yeah.
So, okay, no voices. Kay never wants me to do voices either. So.
You can do whatever you want here, buddy.
All right, you
Yeah.
asked for it.
Yeah. So just so the viewers know, Patrick is going to be on the Krog show this evening,
Yep, can't wait.
August 2nd. This is very exciting.
Yeah,
So he's in town, and this is cool.
yeah.
And you are the one of the many hosts
Too
too
many.
of the I Hate When That Happens pod. Every Tuesday you come out.
Yeah, we release every Tuesday at 6 a.m.
Very exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just for those early risers.
Yeah, I like listening to your podcast because I learn a fuck ton from you.
Thanks.
Yeah, still consider myself pretty new in comedy, but
Which is surprising because you have some really good takes. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
Your knowledge base seems to be like you've absorbed a lot very quickly, and then you're able to also educate and dispel that information, and disseminate it to all of your listeners as well. I very much enjoy the Likable podcast.
thank you.
Yeah,
The pun, fuck, I said the pun. The sponge of comedy
yeah.
is what I am.
Well, of course. I mean, especially this early in your tenure, you're going to be trying to learn and better yourself as much as possible until you become just completely hateful of and resentful of why are you not where you are.
Yeah.
Somewhat of what Aunt Smash mentioned in the last episode,
Mhm.
like somewhat resentful, like I've been doing it for so long and why am I not
Mm-hmm.
better? But it's like you just have to come to terms with what you want out of it and keep those goals.
Yeah.
If you're focused on those goals, really driving towards it and
Mhm.
keep obviously shifting it because you can't step over the rungs. You just got to take them.
Totally. And I so far just consider myself like lucky so far.
Mhm.
There's a lot of stuff that I've done so far in comedy that I shouldn't have done, given my experience level, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm playing with house money at this point, baby.
Yeah, but it's about the grind. You never know what opportunities are going to come your way because as soon as you could have something pop up out of nowhere, just because you know somebody that knows somebody, and when those rare opportunities happen, you just got to jump on them. And it seems like that's what you're doing. You're just taking it all as it comes instead of waiting to be tapped on the shoulder because that will never do you justice.
Dude, I tell you, dude, I think this is the benefit of being older in comedy, but also business background, right? You
Yeah.
got one of those.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how much younger comics don't ask for things,
Yeah.
And it's not feeling like they should have something. It's just well, I mean, there's a million comics. I just didn't think of you. And that's not a saying hey, you're not funny enough for me to think of. It's just I got so many people asking me for things, to go on shows and all this kind of stuff. or just like random advice or just life advice, which they should not ask me for. I'm the worst example of that. but they ask me things, and it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna put my attention there, and
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Comedy is very much the squeaky wheel gets the grease,
Yeah.
and sometimes that is bad.
Oh, hello, everybody. I have no idea how this sounds. Doing this very makeshift. I've got a show in like 3 hours, so I'm just throwing this together. But I'm I'm interrupting this special program to let you know that show dates. We have show dates. So this is not prepared for this at all. This is absolutely terrible. 8:29, got a Croak show. Please come. That was a free show. You're a jerk if you don't come. 8:30 is a private show. I've been telling you guys about it. Still not going to tell you where it is because I'm a jerk like that. 9:09, I got a show in Brooklyn. 3's Brewing with Mr. Nick Bailey. Please come through for that support. 9:17, I'm in the Capital Region's funniest competition. I need people to are willing to vote for me if they think I'm the funniest, of course. And then I skipped right over 9:12. Oh my God, Staten Island, Brooklyn, Fifth Borough Comedy Fest. This is so bad. This is what happens when we rush, friends. This is what happens when we rush. 9:12 is the Fifth Borough Comedy Festival. I'll be in Staten Island. I'm curious to see what the traffic is like. Maybe I'll be funny after driving through that. 9:19 is another Sloop Brewing show, which is so exciting. These shows have been awesome. Please come out. These are the best ways to support me fiscally. Physically, I don't really know. Then 9:20, I'm in Olive Bridge, show put on by Mr. Keith Prince. I don't know where Olive Bridge is, but I don't like olives. I don't know if anybody knows that. 9:26, I'm on a Don't Tell. This is a don't tell anybody about it, though. That's not cool if you do. Like the private show I told you about, but it's a different thing. But don't tell anybody about the Don't Tell on 9:26. Can't tell you anything else, actually. And then on I can't see my own thing. 9:27 is another Krog show. Come out, support. Their shows are free. Our brewery sponsor will be Zeus Brewing, which is my good friend Jeremy's brewery. Please come out and support. You guys are the best.
Because people that may not be funny enough to be on it, but they keep really grinding somebody that is heavy into producing or heavy into even just traveling. It doesn't have to be like, if you're constant, let's say I'm sure you make the trek down to the city. I'm sure you potentially bring people with you as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes people tag along that may not be up to snuff. Let's just say that. And what winds up happening is then they get those networking opportunities with the people you've already laid the groundwork for. And it just kind of smooths that path. And it's the same way in business. Like when you meet certain people, just because I'm sure you do with beer distributors and then the beer reps. And then now you have like 3 different contacts for people that could potentially wind up having venue options. I had one, I don't know if you do with Remarkable Liquids.
Yeah. Oh, we can talk about this stuff.
Yeah. So Remarkable Liquids, they have a guy, I don't know who your rep is, but Ben Harrington is an absolute amazing. Jeremy Irving, I'm sure you know.
I know Irving. I used to have Hutch.
Okay. Never met Hutch.
Ian Hutchings.
Yeah. Never met him, but Jeremy was my guy for a while. And then Ben Harrington was my guy, and he did radio shows and he worked with Marin and stuff. And we talked comedy. He would show up sometimes to take beer orders, and I'd be like, I got nothing for you. And then we'd spend the next probably hour talking about comedy and stuff. And he just like loved that whole aspect of it. And I was like, yeah, this is great. And he's like, I know three different bars that are looking for like entertainment in Schenectady. So do you want to go talk to them? I'll do the introduction and everything, and we can get talking about producing. That was actually the first time I had ever produced a show, and that was Nico's. And what's funny is it just came up on my then and now on Facebook.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Rooftop Laugh Stop. So they had a like massive rooftop that you can go and drink on, and I was like, oh, I want to do an outside show.
Yeah.
And it was not a good idea, so we actually moved it downstairs, even though it was Rooftop Laugh Stop.
Outside stuff, it's tough.
It can be.
Yeah.
But that was a great benefit to me, because now I'm being introduced to people that I normally wouldn't have just walked in and been like, hey, you want to produce a show here? Because that can be a very awkward conversation if you're not apt to
100%. Yeah, it's nice when that connection is already there. you know, like I'm producing a show with my buddy Nick Bailey in Brooklyn in September, and
Oh, cool.
the brewery down there, and we had a bridge because I buy from them
Yeah.
a lot, but
Is it
also
threes?
yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Cool.
did your research?
No, I think I heard you talk about it previously.
Oh,
but-
okay. Yeah.
or we were texting about it.
Perhaps,
Something
yeah.
about threes.
Yeah. It's crazy how fast that snuck up on me. We have to do ticket sales for that soon, and I get stressed with ticket sales. So much anxiety. I don't know why we do this. I don't know why I do this.
I know.
I hate producing shows. But yeah, so it was nice that there was a little bridge there. And actually, what started that whole thing was that a dude that was one of the original partners there moved to Rhinebeck, and his kid goes to Rhinebeck High School, and like he met one of the owners of the bar that I work at, and you know he's like, "Oh, go check out the beer. We sell your beer." And then you know we started talking. He was like, "Comedy venue connected to the guy," and then it was just all that kind of stuff.
It's beautiful when it all works out like that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, it was
because
cool.
it feels like kismet at that point. It's like this was meant to be.
Yeah.
You know, but
It's really
well,
fun.
hopefully your show goes extremely well, like blows them out of the water, and your ticket sales
so.
you don't have to worry about.
Oh,
You hit that point where you're like, all right, we're good, and now
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop stressing.
With Sloop, we've only had one show with them so far, and we
You
had
have another one on the 9th.
the 8th.
Okay,
Ninth is
Ooh.
Don't Tell.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
you
will
weren't
be out
supposed to
after that. Yeah, this will be out after that. But what's it called there? The 8th is Sloop. When we had that show last month, we had like 6 ticket sales beforehand, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna lose a lot of money on this, you know, because we were paying everybody and you know all that kind of stuff, and then you know, time of show 41 people. It was just
That's awesome.
dude.
Yeah.
It was. It felt like gambling.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm hooked on this now.
But you say, why do we do this? And you come into this art form and you don't expect all of these other, you know, extraneous things to be a part of it. And you slowly learn, like when I came into it, I wasn't on social media. Like they existed, but I wasn't constantly posting or anything like that or sharing things or doing stories or all that. And so I remember I was having a conversation with Dee Bellinger's favorite comic, Terrence Green.
Okay.
And I'm just sitting there because I was lone wolfing it very early. And he walks over and he's like, you know, we have a Facebook group. And I was like, I'm a lone wolf. I don't want to. No, thank you. And then I very quickly recanted that and was like, please add me into that group. And then so it's the social media aspect of it, the marketing aspect of it, and then as soon as you're like, I'm not getting enough shows now, I need to produce my own shows. Now you realize you have to do the reach outs to all the comics and work around everybody's schedules and be an event planner on top of a marketing person where you're creating the poster or paying somebody to create the poster for you because your artwork sucks.
Yeah.
And then it's everything. Oh, I also have to create an Eventbrite and a PayPal and all these things. And you start losing your mind. And it's like, can't I just tell dick jokes?
Yeah. I want to joke about how I came early that time.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to do is.
It's so much more than intended. You're oh man. So do you have comics that you want on a lineup and then you try to figure out when a date works, or do you?
No, I pick the date and I make sure.
And then, yeah.
And then I have my people that I reach out to. And then if somebody doesn't, I need to fill what I think they could have added to that lineup with somebody else. So I try to pick like a variation so that there's some roller coastering to the content so that not everybody are straight white males who are borderline autistic and gay.
That's sure you've every man in comedy.
Yeah, we all have those jokes.
Yeah.
Not that I don't also dance on those lines, but it's, you know, I feel like the autistic and gay is the new Tinder, you know, Tinder jokes. And
everybody's got it.
Yeah.
I have this joke I've been running where I talk about how I have a bachelor's degree, and I'm like, that's not a flex on anybody. Like everybody's got a bachelor's degree. It's like autism, and then I just move on.
Yeah.
It's a quick little laugh.
No, that's good. See, that's good. You're not claiming yourself as autistic because of these strange behaviors that you have.
Oh no, I'm OG dyslexic. That's
okay.
Autism.
Is that why Krog is spelled that? No.
Yeah.
I know it's not your bar. I'm just kidding.
Everybody that's Dutch is actually dyslexic. We don't get it right. I think
That's
that's what
funny.
they sound like. I don't know.
Yeah, you said no voices, and here you are.
Ah, dude, I can't help it.
Now you can only do different white voices. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, I have a joke specifically that talks about how Italian is the only slurish version of the voice that you can do.
Yeah.
You know, and then I reference like how you drive by an Italian restaurant, and it's the only place that'll have like neon lights displaying the food types that they have, like pizza and pasta. And it's like, what the I drove by one. It's in Glenville, New York. There's no sign. It doesn't say what the restaurant's called. There's no anything. All it says in the window in neon is pizza pasta. And so it's like, what the fuck is this?
You got to call the number and be like, do you guys have calzones? I didn't see it on the window.
Yeah, exactly. That's the menu.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
So, and then that kind of led me into the joke of like, oh, Italian voice, you know, because you can't do black voice, even though
Can't.
I do it.
Black accent's fun.
Oh, it is. It's the
Yeah.
best.
Michael's not going to like this episode.
Michael, I miss you.
Yeah. How long has it been since you've seen Michael? Let's talk about it.
Ooh, 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
How are you alive right now?
Every time he keeps coming up, I miss him. Just like when you guys were at Comedy Works. I don't know if he came up to Lark the last time you were there.
No. That was Gabe Baldizzi, Jordan Malice, and I.
I've seen Gabe there a few times.
Yeah.
I was like, who the hell's that? And
Yeah.
they're like, he's from downstate. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. And then he did some wild shit. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay. This
Yeah.
guy, I like this guy.
The young mad scientist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gabe looks like he just left the lab.
Okay.
Yeah. I love Gabe.
The glasses and the wild hair.
Mhm.
I'll take it.
We bonded, him and I, really quick because in the beginning I was driving everywhere by myself, and like everything's like at least an hour away.
Yeah.
And then I was doing this Levity Live trip every week, and it was an hour and a half. And I, Gabe was in Kingston, so it's hour 15 for him. I was like, "Hey man, do you want to like carpool every once in a while?" And he's like, "Yeah." So every Friday, one of us would drive.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which was cool. And then it was like, let's hit up Brooklyn, let's hit up Albany, let's do this. You know, so it became like one of those things where like I definitely respect the hell out of Gabe because like I know how much it sucks to just commute everywhere, and he's doing it too. So yeah, it's cool. He's actually taken like a little sabbatical, and I think he's going to Austin.
Oh, cool.
Like now,
Like fully moving?
No.
Okay.
Like he bought like some kind of weird airline thing where all the flights are wicked cheap. But he's like flying all over the place
That's
right
awesome.
now. I think that's this.
I know
2
what
weeks.
you're talking about. I think it's either Spirit, Frontier, or JetBlue, but they have a package where it's unlimited flying for a certain amount of money.
Yeah,
Which is
crazy.
amazing.
But that's
As
awesome.
long as you're just you got to drive to the airport where they fly out of, and they have their terminal. So I thought about that too, but I was like, I don't have that much PTO. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, I have kids and a job.
Yeah.
so that does not allow me to leave.
Fuck.
What do you mean 2 weeks?
Yeah.
You realize I'm a comic, right?
You're not going to see your dad for 2 weeks. So.
No, so it's funny. The commuting thing was also a big problem for me too, because I live in Broad Albany. So a lot of in the Albany comedy scene, that's 45 minutes away. So it turns, and obviously you're doing much more driving than that.
Oh, still 45 minutes. Might as well be.
Back and forth, and then you're driving 45 minutes, and then getting drunk, and then driving drunk 45 minutes home. You're like, oh shit.
It's only a half hour when you're drunk.
Oh, I had this one time. This isn't comedy related. We don't have to do it, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Yeah. Go ahead. Man.
It was Halloween, and it was a comics house party on Halloween, and I went to one. This is when I was dressed as Louis C.K. and I had this fake dick that was hanging out of my pants. So it is somewhat comic related.
Yeah.
And I was walking around, and the next day, actually, when the photos were posted, I had a female comic that was like, "Delete these photos right now. This is disgusting that you would be." And I was like, "LOL." But I'm like, what? It's like whatever, So I went to this comics house party, and then we were playing Flip Cup, and the only thing I had to drink was wine, which is obviously way too strong for Flip Cup.
Yep.
And then after the Flip Cup game was over, they're like, "Oh, it's time to go to bed now," and it was like 3:30 in the morning, and I'm like, "Oh my god." If I leave right now, I will make it home before I'm drunk.
You're like doing math?
Yeah. I was like, I just drank all that. I'm good right now. It hasn't hit me. Got in the car. And I'm like, I got to go the long way so I don't go through where the police are. And don't drink and drive. Okay.
Yeah,
Do not
please
do
don't
this.
drink
Do
and-
not.
I don't know what the
drink and drive.
statute of limitations on this
He's
either.
probably going to edit this out. But,
Yeah.
and then I
no.
and I was driving on this road, and then I woke up 4 towns over, about to hit a bridge, the side of a bridge. I was like, "How did I get here?"
You were gonna hit the side of a
Oh
bridge?
yeah, I slammed on my brakes. Pure adrenaline.
How do you hit a bridge?
So
Are you flying
basically,
or in a boat?
it sits like this, and the road comes to a dead end stop there, but there's a turn that goes right around it and up the bridge, so you can hit the side of the bridge.
Huh.
This is in Scotia, so and I don't live anywhere near Scotia, so I shouldn't have been in Scotia. I don't know how I got there, but I woke up and it was a pure adrenaline, and then I went and drove home wide awake, totally sober.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Sobering experience.
yeah, hands on the wheel, and that was the last time I ever did anything like that.
Hell yeah.
Now I control myself.
Yeah, well, that's why they call it Nova Scotia. No Go Scotia.
What?
Yeah. No. Spanish, baby.
Oh, is that what Nova is?
No, that's what Nova is in Spanish.
Oh,
yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
I
I don't know languages.
I go just. I went out of there.
But yeah, what were we talking about?
I don't know actually.
I told you a drunk driving story. I don't know
Yeah.
why. Wow, you
Hell
just loosened me right up.
I'm known to.
Damn,
do that.
dude.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm
about
biting
that.
my lip for.
Yeah.
That's for you.
As you're doing that, a fly flew past my face.
Ew.
just so the viewers know.
Yeah.
It's important. Man, we really got off on a tangent there.
Yeah.
Comedy.
Oh, you were talking about driving and driving and driving and driving.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that.
Drive a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to go where the opportunities are, especially if you're gonna like mix scenes, and if you're going to Brooklyn or anything. I've made that drive a few times and done the New York mics. Usually when I go though, because it's such a distance, and it's a destination too. I try to make a weekend of it, or like it was I think it was 2019. Yeah, I did like I took a week vacation and just went down and did as many mics as I could.
That's sick.
Through the week, but I was walking everywhere, and by the end of it, I was like dead.
It's exhausting doing that many mics and that amount of time though.
Yeah, that and the quality of everybody with you that you have to sit, like not that go with you, but if you're going solo that you have to watch, because you think you're going down and you're going to see all the like best comics in New York City, and it turns out that it's not necessarily the. We'll cut. I will wait an hour. He couldn't even wait 20 minutes.
That's okay. Get these headphones back on.
I'll fight him.
Do I edit that out or we keep it in?
You can keep it in.
Hell yeah. For the viewers at home, when we got to the studio today, there was a gentleman that was charging his phone in the studio, and he needed his phone back. We believe it's fully charged. We don't know.
No, it was at like 80.
It was at 80%, you saw?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking, that's his choice.
Yeah, that's, well, what is
Get it now?
if he's getting on the train, what is he going to do? But you think you're going down to the city and you're like, there's going to be so many amazing comics. And then it turns out that there's like 2 at that open mic of like 20 people that you're there. And you're like, oh my God, I have to. You never realize that good is there's a contextuality behind, like, just because there's more people down there doesn't mean there's more talent. It just means there are probably more people that are taking it more seriously, but that doesn't mean you're going to see them on a regular basis because of the opportunity
100%.
that's down there.
Yes. I mean, I feel like we talked about this on the podcast so much lately, but like, it's still just like, man, I don't love the city comedy that's down there. I mean, it's absolutely necessary. I'll say that.
Okay.
But the etiquette and the community, I don't know. And maybe it's just because I'm outside looking in, I'll say that. But like, people leaving mics before mics are over just to go to the next one to do, a 5-minute spot there, and then go into the next one as soon as they're done to go to do 5 minutes. And it's just like this continuous like rat race. I don't know. There's just no there's no sense of community, but also like, I don't know how you don't listen to other people, and it's just like, I feel like that's so important for development, and just like, if I'm only doing my thing and I'm never hearing anybody else's perspective on anything, and I'm only doing my thing, I'm never going to hear another way to do my thing, and then, or another way somebody does it, and therefore I'm never going to figure out a new way to do my thing when my thing isn't working anymore, you know?
Very true.
Yeah. So that's what I feel like. Obviously, you got to go down there at some point to get past at certain places and to do. I think the stage time frequency is very important.
Yeah.
And it's almost invaluable. But like, man, like, you know, it's also. I'm grateful that I'm up here learning, you know, before I'm down there.
I think the difference between that is that's pure grind.
Mhm.
And here it's more, I'll say both Hudson Valley and Albany scenes, and I'll say Utica scene too, is more about the community and building it up and kind of making those connections and that hometown vibe, where I'm sure that happens to a degree in such a sprawling metropolis as New York City. But at the same time, because there's so many people, it's harder to really weed out who you want to necessarily network. And you never really know. You could have a diamond in the rough on just a random night of somebody who wasn't doing great, but then all of a sudden it's their turn,
Yeah.
you know, and they have one amazing set that really changes the game for them. And because you've associated yourself with them, it changes the game for you, as per our previous conversation earlier.
100%.
But just to parallel this, where do you work out?
Where do I work out?
Yeah.
I currently go to my hometown gym, IXL Health and Fitness.
Okay. Is Olympic plates?
No, not anymore. Okay. I used to go to Sport of Iron in Kingston.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I switched to the old people gym.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, it's cheaper and it's a mile and a half away from home.
Totally understandable.
Yeah.
I go to Planet Fitness only because I can go anywhere. I can go in Queensbury, Amsterdam, or Saratoga, which is where I'm usually at. So I can just go anywhere. So I don't have to think about it or add it to my morning or nighttime thing, or like make sure I'm home, just for convenience. But have you ever done CrossFit?
I attempted to do it for like 3 classes.
Same.
Was not my thing.
Yeah. But that is the communal gym where you go and there are constantly coaches there. There are classes, and everything is a class with a predetermined workout of what you're going to be doing that day to push you in that direction of your WODs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you go to your gym, you're just doing your thing. You're going in, you're going out, and you're leaving. You're not waiting for somebody to come up and tell you how to do something when you're plateauing with your progressive overload. 100%,
correct? Yeah.
So your gym mentality is different than your comedy mentality. Why do you think that is?
Well, I would say mostly cost.
Yes, I totally understand
cost
that.
and time. I dedicate more time to comedy than I do fitness at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I do feel like I know everything at the gym that I really care to know at this point.
Okay.
But I will say, I'm not getting any better.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a at Sport of Iron, that it is that sense of community with the powerlifting community. With those eyes and those coaches, everybody there, they might not be all in the same class or on the same program, but there is that like, hey, I noticed your knee kipped in a little bit when you did this movement.
Yeah.
Think about your adductor a little bit there, your hip adductor. And then, so it's like, okay, that's somebody saw that. Okay, we can talk about this, you know? So that exists over there. I would get better there, you know? But like right now I'm strictly maintenance right now.
Yeah. Which I totally understand.
Yeah.
And I will say I'm the same way. Like I love the communal aspect and kind of building that up in terms of comedy, but don't fucking talk to me at the gym. I do not need to hear anything you have to say, except for if there was a serious person that wasn't obviously juicing like hardcore.
Yeah.
Then I would probably, but even that guy would probably listen to it too.
Yeah. I mean, you got to listen to whoever's bigger than you.
Yeah. unless
That's the rule.
unless they are just farm strong, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah. I don't give people advice anymore at the gym.
Yeah.
I stopped that forever ago. I did do it recently because what's driving me nuts about this gym, I'm going to vent about this.
That's fine. That's fine.
So it's an old people gym, right? But it's also like a family gym. And for some reason they had this, there's like a French family that comes there.
Okay.
And they brought their kid who's probably 10 to 12 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know, but 10 to 12 ish.
Do you have a picture?
Yeah, actually, shirt on or shirt off?
Pants?
That's not an option, but not the good option.
Okay. Sorry.
Sorry, great time in the locker room. But they had the kid, and he was doing the leg press. And the dad just kind of like showed him how to do it quick. And the kid is hyperextending his knees, which for the viewers at home, very dangerous. And then dad just is like, all right, you're good, and walks away. So then I'm like, I'm not going to approach a child. So then I go to the dad, and I'm like, hey, he's hyperextending. I'm trying to show him my fingers what that looks like. And then he's like, I don't know what that means. He's French, you know? And I'm just like, dangerous. Dangereux. And he's like, oh, and then he like walks over and he like, you know, so he gets the kid to like do, and then the kid's only like 3/4 of a rep. He's not actually doing it, but it's still significantly safer than hyperextension, you know? So anyways, that was the first time I corrected somebody in forever.
Yeah. I don't. There's a lot of people that do a bunch of weird shit at the gym, and it's like, I'm gonna just close my eyes.
Yeah,
and especially at Planet Fitness, I don't want to be kicked out because of the lunk alarm or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Even though the people that are doing the weird shit are banging weights and being totally wild. I could describe it, but for the viewers at home, you wouldn't get it. No, it's funny. You said bring some bits, and what you just described in regards to approaching a child is actually one that I'm working on.
Oh yeah, what do you got?
That and I'll probably mix it in tonight with some of the tried and true. It is fun adults. Sex offenders have ruined being a fun adult. So like if you're out and like kids approach me all the time and they're like, look how fast I can run, and I'm like, wow, buddy, I could never catch you. You know? And like playing with that dynamic. Obviously, this would be before my reveal that I have children in terms of the lineup, but like just that idea. Because there's so like kids love to talk to everybody unless they're coached otherwise.
Yeah.
You know, obviously there's some kids that are very quiet. Like my kids are very reserved because they don't want to, you know, they just want to do their own thing. And they don't need to involve everybody. But some like little girl, there was a little girl that I was just walking by and they're like, hello to me. And I'm like, okay, hi, you know, you are very pretty. And it's like, how weird is that?
Yeah,
For me to be like, you're very pretty. And then the mom and dad are going to look at me and be like,
the wrong parent is like,
yes,
what the fuck?
Yeah. Ooh, the wrong parent. That's a good, that's the approach. That's the secondary approach. That's the left hook after I've already made the right jab.
Oh yeah, sure. You took that very fast.
No, I did. I'm going to take that. The wrong parent.
Yeah. I had my nephew is, half Puerto Rican, but he's got like the darker skin, which again, super jealous of.
I know, I get red.
Oh man, but I was playing with him once, and he has these. He's only 2. He's 3 now, but at the time he was 2, and he scratched me with his little razor blade fingernails because you know at that age they're so small. Oh, yeah. So he scratched me. I still have a little cut on my face. This is from like a year ago, and you know, so I had this little mark, and then I was trying to work it into a bit, but I'm like, I don't know how to do this, but like just walking around and being like, yeah, this little boy scratched me in the face, and then it's like, who's that kid? Is he yours? Like, no, and clearly doesn't look like me at all, you know, because of the skin tone difference. But yeah, I don't know. I gave up on it. I was rocking a mustache at the time too. So
perfect.
Yeah, doubled down on the creepiness. Yeah.
I had a mustache for a little bit.
Yeah, mustache.
But it wasn't for the bit, but I was like, I'm just gonna do this and see what happens. It was kind of before it became the thing though, and now I'm rocking the beard well after it's been a thing. So,
yeah.
But I haven't grown a beard my entire life.
Really? And
twice, COVID, and then now.
Okay, why the change?
Kay was like, you should grow a beard. So I did. So I listened.
Kay Gutos.
Yes, Kay Gutos, my better half. I love her.
We really haven't talked about her much so far.
I know, the other host of the I Hate When That Happens podcast.
Yes. Are we going to do her thing at the end of the episode?
Do you want to do a thing?
I don't have a thing.
I don't have a thing.
Yeah,
you can do a thing when you're on our path.
Okay.
Because that's, welcome. That is exactly how we go into every episode. You have a thing, right? Yeah. And then by the end of it, we're like, I just vented about the thing, so I can't really. So
I can come up with a thing.
Always, always. You know, you gotta hate when something happens all the time. You know, but it's about keeping that in the pocket until the end of the episode, so you can rant about it.
It's tough. Where's Kay today?
Kay is currently hosting the Great Magua up in Diamond Point, which is a DIY music festival. It's basically like a backyard campfire. It is awesome. There's like 7 bands playing. There's a bunch of vendors. It's ran by this guy, Ed and his brother Thomas, who just started it 27 years ago, and they've done it every year since. And it's just this cool little hangout and chill. It's like a big, like festival family kind of hangout. And she's hosted it this is the 3rd year she's done it. So
Sick.
and I'm like, when are we getting there? It starts at 12. That's when the first band gets on it. She's like, I can get there whenever I want. It's like super chill. And I'm like, I have to be there early, and early means early, not time.
Yep.
I'm the type A and she's the type B. Let's just put it that way. So
Good
like
balance.
everything is super planned with me, to like disgustingly so. Like I have an entire in November. I have like we're going on a trip in November, and I have it like completely planned out. But I haven't told I haven't told her anything about where we're going or anything.
Yeah.
So, but we're very different in regards to that. Like I will plan the whole weekend, and she will not tell me anything about her entire week until she sees me, and then I have to ask those questions sometimes.
Yeah. That's you get your dynamic on the show is really cute. I don't know
Appreciate
if dudes
that.
like hearing that, but
I have been told that I talk over her a little bit too much.
I haven't noticed it that much. I do notice when you tease her a bit, you know.
Yeah. Well, that was in the worst episode ever.
I was
pushing
just this
hard.
past week. You were pushing you were playing like a misogyny character, like towards the end, and she's like, "Fuck you, dude." It was fun.
You gotta play the devil's advocate or whatever I was doing there.
Yeah,
a little bit,
yeah.
every once in a while, just kind
fun.
of be a piece of shit.
Just
It's
twisting
fun.
the needle a little bit.
Yeah, it's fun to be a piece of shit.
Yeah, it is. And you guys love each other. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yes.
What was it? Do you want to talk about the relationship at all?
Yeah, sure. We can talk about. I am a complete open book. If there's one rule, I don't know if I ever said this on the podcast, but in life, I have one rule other than don't die. Is don't lie.
Okay.
So I'm a complete open book. You can ask me literally any question, and I will answer it as honestly as I feel appropriate. Not saying I won't lie or bend the truth or anything like that to fit my own narrative and try to make myself look good. But
That's all I do.
It's better. I would rather a hard truth than a soft lie. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like
Fair.
in everything, because you can't make life happen in the right way if you're not doing things with all the knowledge of the true.
Yeah. Fair. I try to live as honestly as possible because lies make me anxious.
Yes.
So
It's a story you have to keep up.
yeah.
It's a bit you haven't worked out yet.
It's also just like, man, like lying feels like it just feels shitty.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. It's just like, man, like I know I'm not doing. And the thing is like, emotional development enough to be like, I know why I lied now, you know, and it's because I'm not proud of what I'm hiding, you know, and which means I'm not proud of me, you know? So it's just like, I feel like a piece of shit, you know?
And you'll always feel better if you tell the truth. Now, I will say there are times I'm not going to fully tell the truth to a police officer that just pulled me over. They don't need to know what's in my car or if I was actually believed I was speeding, you know?
Yeah.
They don't need to know that.
100%. I was just looking at the bridge. I didn't
Yeah,
want to drive it.
exactly. I pretended to be drunk because I'm fun
Yeah.
at 3 a.m.
Yeah. I heard about the Scotia Bridge. I figured I'd check it out. You know?
Really up close.
Yeah.
No, so like that kind of thing. But to bring this back to the like comedy aspect of it, in terms of truth, and we can get back to the relationship at some point too.
whatever.
But in regards to the comedy aspect of truth, do you find that when you build out bits that you try to stick to the true, or do you find yourself in need of servicing the funny or the comedy side of it, that you have to remove some aspects of what is true to embellish to make it a greater experience for your audience?
Fair. My one-liners are almost all made up.
Okay.
My stories are almost all true.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
There's, and that's just how my brain works, I think. Stories are really easy for me to remember, and that's because they've happened to me, and I can remember that. Maybe I'll add in a little note that might not be 100% true, but usually that's just a slight little thing to make the story slightly better. Like I told a story about my sister defending me once. This is like a month ago, and the woman on the other side of the door yelled that like David will never amount to anything. Like that's what I was 8 years old. This woman
my
said that.
God.
I know. My sister kicks the door in and beats the shit out of her. Right.
Yeah. Defending your honor.
I changed the woman's name in the story, so there's a slight little lie.
I think that's fair.
Yes. But it was very close to what her name actually was, and it actually still fit the story very well because there was a tag that came with that.
Okay.
But also, the woman said David will never amount to anything, and then also he's a fat little bastard. So I cut that part out, So it's just like, that's not necessary. And then, like, as far as like how we got in that situation, I cut a lot of that out, which is in some ways lying. But also the crowd doesn't need to know all of that. There's too much context for the story to take place. So like some of that.
I would say omission in terms of storytelling for the audience's sake of maximum punch. I don't think that's essentially lying.
Yeah.
Now, if I asked you, where were you last night? And you said, I went to Hannaford.
Yeah.
And then I went, and then I was home.
Yep.
At bedtime. And I'm leaving out the strip clubs and the murders and all of these things in between.
Hell yeah.
Like that is a lie of omission, especially if it's to, your significant other or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but for the audience sake, you should cut the fat.
Yeah.
Cut the fat little bastard.
Yeah. I'm fat enough. So, what were we were talking about Kay.
Relationship wise.
Yeah, relationship wise. So you guys are both comics.
Yep.
You guys met at an open mic?
Yeah. So I was actually there for her first open mic, and I remember thinking like, oh fuck, here we go. Here's another person that thinks they can do comedy in a wild and boisterous way, because she came in hot, like, and I don't mean attractive, which she was, but it was more along the lines of like, I'm the next big thing. But she didn't make that known, but that was like the vibrancy that she was giving off.
And she was new at comedy at that point in time, and you were how far along?
I was like 6 years in.
Okay, how far along are you now?
8.5.
Okay. So we're building the timeline here.
Yeah. So this was, I want to say like April 2003 is when she showed up, because she had a show that was already pre-booked, and they're like, you're not doing this without at least going to some open mics first. And she's like, fair. So she went, and she brought some friends, which was great. We love that. And they were like they were good. She has a great laugh, as I'm sure have heard on the podcast. And she is very generous with the laugh when she's at shows and stuff like that. Even if she's heard the joke 10,000 times, she's still it's not forced, which is beautiful. She is very genuine with it, but
MVP.
Yeah.
Right there.
It's the one, she's one of the ones that you want.
That saves you so much. I was in a crowd like this 2 days ago, where the crowd is smiling, they're fully engaged, but nobody's laughing. That one person that consistently laughs just allows them to be like, oh, we can make noise.
Permission.
Yeah.
And that tension break too. Like, I find this funny, but I don't know if I'm supposed to laugh, And then finally it does it. So she came in hot, and then I didn't talk to her. A lot of people with new comics, they'll rush up and they'll kind of thing. My thought process is, once I've seen them a few times, then I will approach and be like, hey, I like what you did in your first set, blah, blah, blah. Instead of, because you can sometimes scare people away, and I don't want to talk to people that aren't going to be here ever again.
Yeah.
To a degree. Like, I will, if it was like uproarious or like out of the gates and it was obvious they've been doing it before and they just showed up in the scene, and they didn't say how long they've been doing comedy or anything like that, then I'd probably approach and be like, how long you been doing comedy?
Yeah.
This is not your first time. It's like, oh, we've had those before. Like, there was this dentist guy out of Connecticut that was like, I've actually been doing this for like 10 years. And
wow.
I write books and stuff. And it's like, oh, okay. Your daughter goes to Skidmore, that kind of atmosphere. But with her, it was good. We vibed and we connected, but it wasn't like an immediate thing. It was more her and Sean Barnes really connected as like besties really quick out of the gate. And then one night we were all just hanging out while Grady was still the manager of Comedy Works at the time. Like, Tommy's the owner, and then Grady was the manager. He's no longer there, but we were all just hanging out, and we went to just some bar. It was Trotters to play some pool in Saratoga, hanging out. It was like late. We closed the bar down, and he's like, let's just go hang out at the club for like another hour, and then we can all go home. And we did, and I just felt a vibe all night with her. When in terms of the pool playing, it was flirtatious in a light kind of way. And I had just gone through a breakup, and I was like, I don't know if I want anything serious. And then it worked out extremely well. And after our first date, 2 days later, we were on another one, and it just steamrolled from there. We kept it very, like, I don't know if either of us are ready for this right now, so let's just play it day to day, day by day. And then in September 27th is our year anniversary, so it's coming up pretty quick.
Yeah.
So
That's so exciting.
yeah, and it's when I feel like we both saved each other from the abyss.
Yeah.
To a degree, because we found seemingly somebody that matches the energy and the vibe and counterbalances somewhat, which I think is very important in a relationship. And then also we're doing the same thing. So it's not like previously with my ex-girlfriend and with my ex-wife, there was a balance of like, I'm going to go do comedy, and they completely separated themselves from it. And
Yeah.
they never saw me do it. And they were like, you're going to comedy tonight? We could just watch a movie or something. Like, why do you gotta leave? Why do you gotta do this? And it's like, because this is what I do. Like, there was that maybe not a misunderstanding, but they weren't bought in like I was.
Yeah. Lack of comprehension of what it means to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the problem is that both of these previous relationships, they didn't have hobbies themselves.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
I think, like, I feel like just dating, at least even like an artist, I feel bad. Like I used to date this woman who was a ceramic artist.
Okay.
And when I was dating her, she was constantly working on her stuff. And that was actually a good chunk of her income, was
that's awesome.
Yeah. And I did not grasp that concept at all. So I was like, you don't have time for you're not making time for me? And she's like, no, I have to fucking work, dude. And I'm just like, you could make clay at this time. You could, and I was like, literally, I was such a shitty fucking boyfriend. And then
pick me boy.
Yeah, pretty much. But then after I started doing comedy, and then I realized how like impossible dating was for me at this time, I did end up reaching back out to her and being like, hey, like, I sucked. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
it's weird when you come to that realization down the road.
Yeah.
Right? But it's good that your emotional maturity allows you to self-reflect in that way without kind of, again, bending the truth to fit your own self-narrative.
Yeah, I realized at some point I did not understand the pressure of how much time has to go into making a thing, and that is just, and hers like legitimately has calculated amounts of time for like how long this has to be in the kiln, how long it has to be out in the air, and all this kind of shit. And I'm just like, well, no, you can make it in the morning. It's like, you idiot.
Yeah. You don't know the science behind it.
Yeah. I don't know anything about what I'm telling you how to do.
But now you're on this grind and you totally understand, what it takes to put in a hobby. And I think that was the failure of my last two relationships that wasn't like the thing that pushed it over, but that disconnect was kind of weird in regards to comedy. But it also somewhat fueled me, because that discord in those moments allowed me to kind of flourish but it also, I was compartmentalized because I was not fully self-actualized as like, I am always this one person versus this is at home Padrick, and this is comedy Padrick, and this is work Padrick. Now all of them are just one.
And that helps the comedy, I think, too.
Yeah, I definitely, in terms of confidence, in terms of stage, in terms of surety when I'm delivering something, that I'm just me doing my thing.
Yeah. You're not like not in a different mindset when you're in a different room.
Yeah.
And that
definitely helps.
Yeah.
And even if that is somewhat the case with like work, because that's like, I have to follow HR and I have to say all the right things, and I have to make sure that I'm not breaking against the mission of the parent company and all of those things. But it's like, okay, I'm going to separate myself and say disgusting things that hopefully my bosses never hear.
Yeah. Have you ever had that potentially happen?
Not my boss. Well, kind of. I had some contemporaries that were like equal managers to me that went and saw my show, and they're like, I can't believe you said that about
You
our
invited
boss.
them?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. They were my friend though.
Okay.
And then the worst part of it was when I went to an open mic at Lark Tavern, and you might have heard this on my podcast, but I went to a open mic, and someone that worked for me went to the open mic knowing I was going to be there because they wanted to see my set. And I just did my prom night story. And then they repeated the punchline at work for like a full week before I heard them say it. And then I had to confront them.
Yeah.
And be like, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, it's so funny. Blah, blah, blah. This is your thing. And like, how could you do that? Like, you have to understand that there's a separation. And not only that, but contextually, you are saying the R word right now.
Yeah.
And I will not allow that in my workplace. Like, you have to understand that there's this church and state. Like, you do not fuck with my God of comedy at my workplace. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. And then do you think in their mind they were like proud of you, so that's why they were sharing?
No,
funny
I think
jokes?
it was a ribbing. It was like,
Oh,
oh,
really?
I saw you do comedy. You're so funny.
Think about it.
Yeah. Well, while they thought it was funny, I don't think they were really like positive about it.
They weren't trying to be supportive.
No. I think it was like, we got something on our boss.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
That sucks. I pray to God my staff never does anything.
But you're doing comedy at your job.
Yeah. The world of Rhinebeck knows that this is my thing, I guess. And that's, I've accepted that. I'm gonna get all the, hey, I thought of a joke for you to do, and that's gonna be from literally everybody I see in town. And thankfully there's other comics in town.
That's good.
Yeah. So I don't take all of it, but I do. I feel like because people see me as equally as a comedian as a bar manager, and the vibe of the bar is very relaxed.
Oh yeah, I could tell that when I walked in.
Yeah,
that's definitely a chill spot that you got.
Yeah. Thank you. But I feel like because of that framing, like a lot of people don't take what I say too seriously.
Okay.
They're just like, but I also don't do a lot of like racy stuff. I'm going to try out one tonight. We're going to see how it goes. But I preface a lot of my sets at the Krog with, I work here. I don't want to fucking hear about this after.
Good.
So I let them know ahead of time. This is not an open discussion.
Yeah. It's messy when you force those compartmentalizations, but I don't do that anymore, which I think has been good for me lately anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And obviously being on my own podcast has allowed me to just kind of like dump so much of my thoughts and kind of let people know who I really am out there a little bit more, which has also been good, which is why I understand why so many people started podcasts, maybe to have these like just light info dumps or lore dumps about themselves and kind of their thoughts on things, to a degree. So it allows them to realize, because if you don't say it out loud, it's just a thought, and a thought doesn't necessarily define you. But as soon as it becomes said, I guess that becomes truth to you, right? To a degree.
And we're doing one-upping it. We're publishing it.
Exactly. Well, it's the same thing though, right?
Yeah.
If you're not in the woods, you're not a tree falling in the woods. If somebody hears it, you kind of have to be that person, but you have to fulfill the consequences of whatever you're saying.
Well, 100%. I think it's what I do like about your podcast that you and Kay have is that you guys do as much like couple banter, and then you'll talk about like movie references or preferences, and then it'll just be like straight up comedy knowledge. Just like, and it's sometimes it's all in the same episode, sometimes it's each an episode is devoted to one.
Well, we started as a comedy podcast because I don't know if you've ever listened to You Made It Weird with Pete Owens.
No, I haven't.
First 100 episodes of that are probably the best comedy school you could ever listen to.
Yeah.
Because it was right when he started headlining. He hadn't even gotten his show yet on TBS. And he was interviewing people that were about to become legends, or some people that were already massive headliners, but some people that were like just exploding, like Jesselneck and everything, very early in their careers. Kumail Nanjiani, all of them, John Mulaney, before they had their big breaks. Like they had maybe one special out, but they weren't who they are at this point. We're selling out arenas or going to SPAC or any of that stuff. And they would just talk comedy shop. And I'd like binge listen to probably 180 episodes of that. And they're like 2-hour episodes.
Amazing.
So it was like 4 months, and I had gone through all of it. Like that was all I listened to all day at work, all day at home. It didn't matter. Sorry, kids. I have to listen.
Yeah.
I have to learn.
Can I hear a story? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
One time there was a kid who went to bed.
Yeah.
So I listened to that nonstop, and then I just became like, I would love to do this eventually, of being able to like speak comedy on, you know, to anybody who will listen to it, or my opinion. But at the time I was only like, I don't know, maybe 18 months in. So I wasn't there yet. And another comic was like, "You're two nobody comics." And it was me and my friend Nat, who were like, "Oh, we should do like a comedy podcast." And they're like, and so this other comedian was like, "You're two nobody comics in the middle of nowhere. No one's going to listen." And I was like, "You're right." And then it completely left my mind until Super Salad, when Kay and I did, well, I did it, I think twice. Yeah, twice. And then Kay and I did it. And then after Kay and I did it in November, I was like, we should do a podcast. We just have good banter, because it just, the vibe and energy just felt really good between us. So that's what kind of led to it. And I was like, it's got to be a comedy podcast. We got to talk comedy. We can't just be bullshitting all the time.
Yeah.
But then I realized very quickly, there's only so much like information dumps that you can like do to people before it just starts sounding like a school lecture, and I don't really want to do that. So we were like, we got to banter more. And one of our goals this year, or for the rest of this year, is just to get more guests on. So we're going to have some non-comic guests. We're going to mix it up. We're going to bring on a lady guest, which we haven't had. But we've only had 3 guests. So, I know. Yeah. But we already have that good balance, because obviously one of us is male and one of us is me. So no, that was a bad joke. I love you, Kay. You're not a guy. You're not a guy.
4K.
Now you're back to Spanish.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Por qué, Padrick? I can't do the accent either. Shit.
Oh, por qué.
Yeah,
that's a good one, because we're also working on a even if it's not going to amount to anything, but we want it to. It's part of our dream board and our manifestations, is a TV show based on our parallel lives that will intertwine. It'll start separate and then obviously come together. But it starts off on her, as like a show. Yeah, because she's just basically, it would be Rita's dumpster fire all over again, just laid out. So because she's lived quite the life. So. Yeah. It started out as her show, but I'm going to force myself into it.
Yeah. It's just like this stagnant character until a certain point. And then you're like, hi.
This is just, everybody's going to hate the first 4 episodes. They're just so poorly written, no character development. And all of a sudden, it's a happy-go-lucky thing, and this guy shows up. But that's part of like her like 10-year plan for herself, which is good. And I love that she's so focused on her own self-development like that. I think that's a beautiful thing.
That's really cool.
Yeah, because for a while I feel like you and I have that very similar kind of outlook of like, it would be really cool if something happened, but I'm not gonna force that to my own detriment. You know, I'm not gonna try to burn bridges or make sure that I'm constantly like over networking or pushing myself too far when, obviously you got a life to live, you got a business to run. You can really overstress yourself, and there could potentially be a point where while doing that and chasing your dream that you give up on it, because it's just, you kind of hate the grind of it all. Yeah.
I think I feel so energized after shows, with the exception of producing them. As soon as I can figure out how to get on more shows without having to make them mine, because I care so much about numbers and metrics for some reason.
Yeah.
I think it's just from running small businesses that I'm just like, well, I did 2 shows a month for my first year. That's what my average was. And now I have to make sure I do at least 3 for the following year. And like, I've been very fortunate this year to where I'm averaging 4.5. And I'm like, God damn it. So like, in July, I only had 3, and I was like, all right, this is okay. This is okay, David, and then I got added onto a show on July 31st. So I was like, okay, like we're back to 4. Great. So it's just like one of those things where it's just like, but that is going to quickly dry me out. And, so I'm just trying to be cognizant of that because like, I don't know, like what's nice about talking to like more experienced comedians is that like they have a full grasp and understanding of like, hey, it's going to be good for a bit and then it's going to be bad for a bit, you know, and it'll ebb and flow. Like, you know, don't put so much pressure on.
One of my favorite sayings came from my hospitality mentor, and he said, "Some days chicken, some days feathers." Like you're gonna have time periods of like you're almost overworking, and then there's gonna be time periods where you're just not chosen, and you have to come to terms with that because it's about like the wave or the ripple through the community. Because there's a time when I think it was October through January of this past year, where I was like, every weekend I have like a show or two. Like this is like I have to be a father. Like this is getting bad. And then I just stopped saying yes.
Yeah.
Which felt wrong.
Yeah.
But it
yeah.
also allowed me to like, because towards the end there, I was like, I want to fucking quit comedy. Like I can't keep this up. I'm not being a person. Like it's just work all week, and then it's comedy on the weekends, and I feel disingenuous telling these jokes. Like I don't feel like I like it anymore. So it was nice to kind of step back and just say, I didn't say no to a lot of shows, but it was like 2, and then for like a while there were like no shows, and I was like, fuck, what did I do?
Yeah.
Like, a month would be cool.
Yeah.
But it was somewhat intentional to kind of step back, but it also allows me to kind of reinvigorate my love for it, and kind of, not that it ever like disappeared completely, but
Yeah.
I go through those phases.
Yeah. Yeah. I think taking a step back from something also gives you great perspective on like how good it actually is.
Yeah.
Or just like, I don't know, like I feel like everything in life, I always lifted heavy, right? I did not appreciate squatting 135 ever, you know? And then I fucking tore my bicep off, and then I had to get surgery. And then so squatting again after that and trying to stabilize the bar on my shoulder, you know, and having it only be 135, I was like, oh my God, like this is awesome. Curling a 5-pound dumbbell was amazing. You know, I was like, oh my God, like it's so strong again, you know, and then, you know, just getting back up to, you know, the numbers that I need to feel like I need to do, you know, just like getting there was just all I could focus on, you know, but it's like, then when I got there, my perspective wasn't, oh, I need to keep getting stronger. It was like, no, I'm just happy that I've gotten back here. Like, I'm happy that I got back to it. It wasn't taken away from me. I was able to get back, and then, you know, now I have a different relationship with, you know, squatting, you know.
I love squatting.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. So I do somewhat of that. I actually, in regards to working out as well, what I'll do is I'll do heavy progressive overload, where I really push into like how heavy can I go, and then I will stop that about halfway through the year and just go straight volume. So I'll reduce the weight. I don't know if you've ever used like Boring But Big.
No.
Where it's basically a 5-3-1 program where you build up to your 95% of your max, your PR, and then you drop it down to 50%, and then you do 10 sets of 10 reps of 50% of your weight.
Okay, almost like the Romanoff or the Smolov method. Yeah.
So works wonders in regards to just your strength and size too. Obviously, it's balancing both strength building and hypertrophy. So it's like really good. So instead of doing that in one workout, though, what I do is I just separate it into, this is kind of my plan for 6 months, and then this is my plan for 6 months.
Okay, like a periodized program method. Yeah.
Yeah, and if I think about that in regards to, like, let's say comedy, that's kind of how I approach comedy too. Like, there will be a span of time where I'm just like so focused on writing and content development, and then the volume is getting as many mics as possible and as many shows as possible, so I can get this really refined so that it is quality content.
Yeah. That's what so I will say that is what I love about the city, is that because there's a frequency of like volume and mics, when I do have a set that I'm really energized with and I really want to figure out, like that's when I'll hit the city and try to do like the 5 mics in a day. Yeah. Because I want to, you know, there will be probably 2 halves of a 10-minute set that I've been working on, and I'll just go and every other, you know, and that'll also help me memorize things. So that's what I do like about that. It's just getting those reps in.
Yeah. How long do you think it takes for you to like refine a joke? Or how long do you give it before you put it away to try another day?
Do you mean just like to not say it again? Or
Not ever. I mean, just it goes into your book and you can pull it out whenever you want because you know how it goes now.
Oh, I don't know. Like I'm still like I think too new to know that answer.
Okay.
And I'll say that because like I don't think any of the jokes I've ever actually said are actually done.
Yeah.
And then like when I pull a joke out, like I'll say it. I'll remember like the bullet line that I have for it, or like the keyword. But I'll still like forget like a tag that I had in that middle of like a minute 30 that it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, but I also
That's
it's
the worst,
just
to be
sometimes it's just clumsy when I say it again. But I'm also like before a show, like I will say the whole set out loud,
Yep.
like so I can feel the way I say it. I need to feel it roll off the tongue. You know?
I totally understand that.
Yeah. So I'll do that, but yeah, I don't know. I don't have like I've been trying to not bring notes up on stage and then have recall on stage to being like, all right, I just riffed with the crowd for a little bit. That triggers a different word. And then I'm going to pull out a story that's in relation to that, and I've been bringing my phone up, but just for the time. So I know if I'm about to start a story, how much I need to condense it. So I can hit the right bullet points and still not go over the time. So like last night I did 15, and I had the timer on stage with me, and it was just like one of those random things where like I looked down and I was already at like 7:50, and I was like, all right, I don't have time to do this other story, but I have this other one that I've been working on, so let's just try it out. And then I did that, and it only ended up being like 2 minutes, and I was like, fuck. So I'm like, what else can I pull out of my ass here?
No, those are the worst times when you have to fill time, and you're like, oh my god. If only I did this other.
Yeah. I went from a surplus to a deficit in
Very quickly.
120 seconds. Yeah.
How does it feel to be interviewed on your own show?
It's okay. Yeah. It's weird. Like I was on a different podcast earlier this week, and it was weird to just kind of sit there and have people ask me questions.
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to just going at you. It is weird. Yeah. Do you find it weird when you're a guest on somebody else's show?
This is actually the third podcast I've been on that wasn't my own. So,
yeah.
And the first time I was ever on a podcast, it was weird because they all smoke pot, and I hit it once, and then I was like nonverbal through the podcast. And I didn't know any of them. They were just there was a comedy podcast that was happening. I don't think they do it anymore. But they were like, "Oh, we'd love to have you on," and then they all know each other very well, and I'm like, "Who are you people? Like, is this supposed to be funny?" And then they'd cut to me, and I'd be like, So it was weird. And then Super Salad, and then another one, which I think I forgot I even did it, but I don't know. I just love to answer questions and stuff. I'm better with prompts than just thinking off the top of my head.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah,
the best way to do it. So if you have prompts, give it. Just
you want prompts?
Oh, you don't have to give me prompts, but I question.
I think I hit most of them actually. Is
there anything you want to know that we haven't talked about?
Anything I want to know,
or we haven't mentioned on my podcast?
You want to hear what my prompts are for this?
For what?
For this episode? This is a look into my note writing process. How long have you been doing comedy? We covered that.
Yeah.
What's it like dating comedians?
Oh, we didn't really touch on that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
The relationship wise, it was great. It's been great with that, but I feel like it's somewhat difficult because you may have different. You want to support each other, but also there is some like, why are you on that show? And then you have to listen to. Then you have to listen to, and I know she's listened to me say this a few times, like, it's weird that they haven't picked me for that show yet because that is my style. It's those weird back and forths of like, like obviously there's less women in certain scenes, so
totally.
So there's certain people that get trying to be very conscientious here.
Sure.
So there is a delay in what I'm saying as my brain tries to come up with it. Diversity hires. Let's just There's a thought process of calling it that.
I'll be 100% honest. I always make sure I try to have female representation on the show and some kind of either minority or LGBTQ plus representation, and strictly for the fact that like when I'm putting together like a croak show, I've got that there. You know,
Yeah.
that's my crowd. It's a mix of people, and I want to make sure everybody at least feels like they were represented a little bit on the stage.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, that being said, like the great part about going to open mics all over the goddamn state is that I can find the best females, you know,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
go up on there, and you know, some of the best gay ones and the black ones, you know, they're all great, you know. And
Mm.
it's like I don't feel like I've ever put anybody on a show because I'm like, you know, like, oh, like I gotta get a chick,
Well-
and, like she's around, you know, like, and I don't think that happens a lot, because I do think people care a lot about the quality of their product too.
Yes,
you know?
100%.
Yeah. So I mean,
Well, that may be why certain people get picked more often. You know.
Oh,
what I mean,
right.
in regards to that. So,
yeah.
but
Has this happened to you? Sorry to interrupt. Has this happened to you where you've been, I don't know if you give off a lot of gay vibes,
okay.
but this
Yeah.
has been a recurring thing for me lately.
I was actually thought of as bisexual just the other day.
Oh, really?
So somebody's like, you guys, it's so endearing to see a bisexual couple. And I'm like, excuse me.
So this has happened to me recently.
Okay.
A gentleman was putting together a queer show,
Mm.
and he heard a joke that I was doing about I was in Albany and I saw a really attractive homeless man. And
Oh.
I think, fellow gym goer, you can appreciate an attractive
Exactly.
man.
Yeah.
So I was just talking about it, you know, and he heard me do that in my set, and he just thought, and this is at an open mic, so
Yeah.
he thought I was bi, and then he was just like, or maybe just gay, but like, he was like, hey, do you want to do this queer show? And I'm like, are you having straight people on? And he goes, well, no. And I'm like, okay. And then he jokingly said, do you want to pretend to be gay?
Oh.
And I was like, I don't think that's the morally correct thing to do, you know? But, and then he was like, yeah, totally, that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I felt like I could have said yes to this, you know?
Yeah, he wasn't joking.
Yeah. That's
sound like
happened twice to me lately.
Oh.
Well, the other queer show that I didn't get on was, I just wasn't. We would love to have you, but you're not gay, so
Okay.
we can't have you.
That's fair.
And I understand that, because like that's a room for them. You know,
Yeah,
we've had
absolutely.
plenty of rooms for autistic white men. You know,
Exactly.
so
Of course.
yeah.
Well, there was one time I had a joke about how this girl's boyfriend was cheating on her and that she wouldn't come to terms with it. And I was like, he's currently fucking me in the ass. And I'm like, what? You guys don't think I'm bi? That was like the afterthought of the comment. This is very early. This is 2018. And I was on the show, and then afterwards, the producer and the lesbian comic came over and was like, we're so happy that there's more representation on the show. I was like, yep. I just faked it for the because it was the after. I was like, I'm not gonna say anything, because it's like, maybe maybe I was bi for 5 seconds and never.
I'm open to it if somebody pays. You know, like, do I have to prove it on stage? Like, shit. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, that's been interesting. But yeah, as far as like people getting representation in shows, yeah, you do want to make sure you hit the demos, you know.
Yeah, and I'm saying, like, you said specifically that you don't think that happens very often, but I think it happens, but not in a malicious, like, dumb way of like, I need a woman.
Yeah.
It's more like they recognize that we don't want a homogenous product, so we need to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I feel like sometimes the people that get chosen for being in those slots feel like they're being chosen because of that diversity and not because they are the best comic. Kay very, vocally says she has to climb 2 ladders at the same time.
Okay.
Being the funniest female comic is not necessarily equivalent to being the funniest comic. So she wants to be known as the funnier comic, not necessarily for being engendered that way.
Yeah.
And I think that's valid. But I think that's
Very
a challenge that they have to do, in the same way that a black comic is somewhat separated of being, okay, you're the funniest black comic. But are you the funniest comic in that kind of balance?
Yeah. It would be interesting to, like, I'll never do this because finances, but it'd be interesting to, like, kind of go to a scene that's predominantly black and then to try and, do that experience, being like, try to be like there's only a few white comics
Yeah.
in a black scene, and just try to see what they're going through when they're in our scene,
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting,
I did a mic like this. So I was in
Okay.
Virginia, and it was a competition mic. I didn't know it was a competition mic. It was just a pool hall that had a comedy show or a
Okay.
comedy mic. So I pull up, everybody's smoking, and it's like literally the room has like one white guy, and I walk in, and I'm like, should I do comedy here? And then I'm like, fuck it, let's just go. And I'm like, I'm here to sign up. And I signed up, and I wound up getting second, which I was like all about. It was $20 for second. The other person got booked on the show, and I was like, I'm only going to be here for a week. Even if I won, I'm not going to be on the show, so it doesn't matter. But they were like, it turned from everybody barely paying attention to when I went up and I did a joke that I might do tonight. Everybody's heads were like, what? He's saying that?
Yeah.
And then, so it was somewhat different. It was like, because everybody else was like about their experience, and which I unfortunately, half of them I couldn't relate to.
Yeah.
Because it was just a different life lived.
100%.
It's
Yeah.
obviously something. A Virginia life is going to be different than an upstate New York farm town kid.
Well, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So especially if you're in the capital, or I think it was Chess Bay. So
Chess Bay, Virginia.
yeah.
Okay.
But so there's like 5 cities that are all like meshed into one down there.
I don't know anything about Virginia.
Newport News and Norfolk, and a huge military presence and everything. It's great. There's like a 20-mile bridge over at Chesapeake Bay, which is awesome because you're just going up and down.
20-mile bridge?
Yeah, so like 20 minutes you're driving on this thing. And
That's
it's just
wild.
Ocean on one side and the bay on the other. And it's like, this is insane. How did they build this?
Why have they not made a movie about this? Like them in a car chase, like with this bridge, and then it's like collapsing behind them, Because you have to like outrun this for a while. Maybe that's a really
Well,
cool
then,
movie.
some of it goes bridge, and then you go underground, and then you go back to more bridge. So there's this little island.
How
there's
is
like
this
building
not
and
in a
everything.
Fast and Furious movie?
I feel like the best bridge action thing was True Lies at the end of True Lies when they have the nuke.
no.
You haven't seen True Lies?
No.
With Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No.
Oh my God. Came out in 1994. So it's
Okay.
Jamie Lee Curtis,
Okay.
Elijah Dushku,
Mhm.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tom Arnold, Roseanne Barr's husband.
Yes, of course.
Directed by James Cameron, who did Terminator, who did Avatar, who did Avatar 2, who did Piranha 2. It's fucking Titanic. I don't know why I didn't say that, but it's
big pull.
really good. It's comedy action. Are you not a movie guy?
I'm a dumb movie guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
True
So
Lies.
yeah,
You-
I'm big into like Marvel and fantasy stuff.
I like
but
Marvel
Yeah.
to a degree. Did you see Final or Fantastic Four?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Did
loved it, didn't you?
I did enjoy it a lot. I liked it because of the pacing a lot.
Okay.
It goes by so fast.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. There wasn't a lot of action in it.
Yeah.
But I do like. I feel like I like a lot of movies, like Marvel movies,
Mhm.
because of. It's not even because of what they are; it's what they're setting up. Because I care about like this giant arc of the story. Like I like, like when they were doing Infinity Wars and Endgame.
Yeah.
Like I appreciate all the other movies so much more because it's all these little pieces that come together to make
Yeah.
this one event.
When the threads all finally knot.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
so cool. So.
I like that too. I feel like Marvel has made a mess of itself after Endgame.
Oh, dude, the Kang Dynasty thing.
Horrible.
I
dropped
loved
it.
I loved Jonathan Majors as
Yeah,
this
he was good.
character.
He
He
was
was
really good.
very much like, and I'm personally am very obsessed with the concept of time.
Me too.
Oh yeah. Ooh,
yeah. See, we're so
okay.
similar.
Mm,
I knew we'd
this is
vibe.
This is gonna be a fun car ride. But like that's the Patreon content and OnlyFans. Yeah. So Kang, I loved in like the Loki series. Did you see
Yep,
that? Great character in that. It's unfortunate what happened to him. It sucks that they dropped him. I hope they bring him back somehow.
Apparently they're in talks.
Yeah, I'm so hopeful.
I'd
for
seen
this.
that, but he's an unnecessary villain at this point.
Is he, though?
I feel like he kind of is because now that they're fast tracking Doom, yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like he kind of is.
But don't you think, because this is going to go on like New Rockstars, but don't you think after the whole Doom thing is done,
When they reboot the entire universe,
reset everything, it could begin with him again?
Potentially.
Potentially,
Because what,
right?
what are you going to do? Thanos again? Come on.
Yeah, you know, they'd be like, oh yeah, we have to reboot Thanos. Yeah,
We're
we're
going to
gonna.
reboot the Infinity War.
This one's
It's like,
blue.
come on.
Yeah.
Oh, is this
Yeah.
where he gets his Thanos copter?
Yeah. Do you watch What If?
No. I
Okay.
started it with the first season, but after that, I stopped watching it.
Okay, so
it became just too much. you
Yeah.
know? That's where I'm like, all right, because none of these were really. They had a few good what ifs, but then there was a bunch of like, who cares about this?
Yeah, and
You
they
know?
also didn't. Some of them didn't really add up.
Yeah.
It's like just because they didn't get the snow. No, but there was I don't know if it was season 1, but Ultron like comes back, or Ultron wins.
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like the
I think
episode.
that was season 2, episode 1.
Yeah, I loved Ultron. I will watch that Avengers movie a couple times just because I like James Spader's voice.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and I just like this concept of evolution. But like him winning, it was just like this cool thing. So I hope maybe they explore some of the what if concepts and the, I mean, but also the multiverse is exhausting. So
Well, I'm fine with the multiverse or the other verse or anything they want to call it, as long as, and this is the most important thing, there's a plan.
yes,
So map it out. Apparently WB, they're trying to sell DC now. That's what I had just heard.
Really?
Yeah. So they're because they're going through a huge shakeup right now with Discovery and Warner Brothers wanting to separate. And Zaslav went from making over $100 million to $20 million in a year, and they're fired like 10% of their supporting staff with marketing, all that stuff. It's a shit show over there. So apparently they want to build up. They want to announce Batman. They want to build up the DC brand so that they can add like equity to it, so that they can then sell it off.
makes
For
sense.
like a bunch of money for Warner Brothers to try to continue. And but they don't have a plan, I feel like.
Yeah,
And it's the same thing with Marvel post Infinity War. And I said this right when Infinity War came out, I was like, as soon as this wraps up, they better have fucking a shitload of like ideas after this, because otherwise you've just made like a perfect 23 films. Like they're not all perfect, but like in terms of like creating that quilt of story that feels like soap. Like I remember when he snaps his fingers in the theater, everybody erupted. And there's that viral video of it, of, the sound of the audience. So it's like, God, that was such a fucking peak cinema moment. Like, even though it may not be like top film or like film critics' choice of like best, that moment was like on anything else. It's the same thing with like Avengers Assemble when he's standing there, or when he Captain America. There's so many moments in the last like 40 minutes of Endgame that are like the most like sought after, of like, oh, that is so good. And the Russos did a great job. But after that, it felt messy. Doctor Strange 2, and even up to Thunderbolts, I didn't really like.
you didn't like Thunderbolts?
I didn't like any of post Endgame except for maybe Guardians 3.
Okay, loved Guardians 3. I liked Quantum Mania with the exception of Kang losing.
I didn't like that at all.
Really?
Yeah, that was way too much of a mess. I feel like
Yeah.
everything's just been like loose threads without it. Loki was great. That was good.
Very
to me,
well
Loki
thought about show.
to Marvel is Andor to Star Wars, that kind of thing, in regards to quality setup. I don't know if you watched Andor.
Loved Andor.
Okay, I think Andor is peak.
It's almost like a completely different thing from Star Wars in my mind.
I think that's where you start.
At Andor?
It's weird because Andor makes Star Wars almost like Finnegan's Wake. Have you ever read Finnegan's Wake? So it famously does not have a beginning or an end. You can literally pick it up anywhere in the book and get the same thing out of it. The first sentence of the book starts halfway through the last sentence in the book, and it's built as essentially Ouroboros, which is the snake eating itself, is like the whole point of it. And it's written by James Joyce, and it's written in like really weird dialect. Everything is like, you can go through an entire paragraph and there's 500, not really 500, but there's like 30 references to other works and other things of like, that means this in this context because of this dialect and this language. And it's like an impossible read for the most part. And I forgot where I was going with that. I got sidetracked. I fucking
Andor, Star Wars.
Yes. So Andor kind of creates this circle of like, you want to start watching Andor and then get to Rogue One, but that immediately bleeds into A New Hope. And then you want to watch the rest of it, but then you want to get back to the beginning and then go into episode 1 and 2 and 3, and then you kind of want to go right back into Andor. But now I want to watch it all over again. It's like this weird. It creates a circle of the 3 trilogies.
Yeah.
In that regard.
Yeah. Which is amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But
Yeah.
Marvel doesn't have that.
Not currently. No. But I
Need
mean,
that. Loki was the closest to it when it
Yeah.
ended, and he's
but there's no Kang
where he
now,
is. Yeah.
and yeah, so it kind of makes it somewhat irrelevant, which sucks.
well, no, because his station in
Well, like how Loki ends.
yes,
Yes,
his station
yes.
matters more than anything.
And I guess Tom Hiddleston, who plays Loki, is supposed to be a big role in Doomsday.
And with Secret Wars comes before Doomsday, or Secret Wars is after Doomsday.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah.
But I just build a plan. If you're
Yeah.
spending $300 million per movie with production and marketing, sit down and pay 10 people $1 million to just say, this is the plan that we're doing, period, and we're sticking to this plan.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't just announce movies to announce movies. Don't start a movie's production or announce a movie's release date before the script is written.
Yeah, I think Kevin Feige is taking over everything now. So, like, I think they just announced that like a little while ago. He's like going to oversee everything.
Well, maybe they need to give it to somebody else.
It's continuity, though. At least there's one person with one plan.
Yes. Well, it's the same thing with James Gunn in DC.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is now this person's preferences is now the only thing that is going to be put out into the world. And Kevin Feige famously said that he's not a fan of Blade, so that has gone on the back burner. It's not because of the script dilemmas that have gone on with that, or Mahershala Ali being upset with the fact that he's been basically holding on to this role for 5 years, and they keep saying it's starting in this time, and so he's had to turn down work and that stuff. But you become, because of this wealth of character development in comics and everything, the development of the story and where it goes is going to be solely contingent on this one person.
Yeah.
And for the essentially biggest movie franchise of all time, it shouldn't necessarily do that unless it was the creator of the original storylines of it, or to some degree. Kind of like, it makes a lot of sense for James Cameron, who made Avatar and wrote and directed Avatar 1 and 2, and now he's got a plan for 6. Sure, if that's his through line that he's going to be doing, because he's going to be writing and producing and directing everything and putting it all together and creating the technology, or helping to create and fund the technologies to make the movies that he wants to make, that's his vision. That's fine. But Feige is just given permission to use all of this stuff.
Yeah.
But now it's, well, I don't like that character, so let's just push that to the back burner. And this character is better, but let's change his race to, whatever. And it's, who cares about all that stuff? But like, we're creating this one person's opinion on what it should be.
Fair. I agree with that. I would like to think that they have a lot of different directors and all that kind of stuff that all have their own visions for how the movie could go. But if it goes to one person's desk where he's just like, all right, how does this look in the big scheme of things?
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
That is the problem that they had with Edgar Wright with the original Ant-Man, is he wrote and directed it, was supposed to anyway, but he didn't wind up directing it because, well, not fully. He didn't get final cut for it, and they basically were like, you have nothing to do with Marvel anymore because of the battles. Marvel basically told him, you're going to do and make the movie we want you to make.
Gotcha.
You're not going to make your own thing. You're going to do what we tell you. And then everything became extremely cookie cutter until they essentially followed these somewhat basic things like Captain America 4, for example, which I was not a fan of.
Which one was that again? Is that Civil War?
No, Civil War was 3. 4 was where Falcon became Captain America and Red Hulk.
Or New World, right?
Order.
Yeah, that one was. So like, we do have to wrap up soon, but
absolutely.
but what I will say is, like, I think a lot of this was like kind of hurt by writing strikes.
Yeah.
And then I think Captain America was partially done during COVID.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
Yeah. Well, they also had to reshoot it and change who the bad guy was and do a million things because of
so bad in so many scenes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the backdrops and the green screen.
So bad.
So
and
bad.
then the Red Hulk, which was the entirety of the marketing, was in it for 5-6 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, dude.
And they're not gonna use him again. Also, choosing Harrison Ford for that role.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
I feel like he's gonna die soon.
Yeah. Choose Bryan Cranston.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I know.
Bryan Cranston with a mustache? Hell yeah. Yeah.
When has that ever happened?
Yeah.
Not with just a mustache. No, he did that. Actually, did that in the studio on Apple TV, which is a great show.
Okay.
I could talk fucking shows and movies.
Yeah,
For the
this
rest
has
of
turned
my
into
life. I know.
Rex
Welcome
episode.
to the Likable Marvel podcast.
Yeah.
No, you'll find very quick. I get called a contrarian quite a bit in regards to my taste in movies and music and a lot of stuff. And a lot of people just think I like to poo-poo on everything. It's just I like what I like, and I can destroy anything I don't.
Yeah.
With my opinions, but that also makes me very opinionated in regards to what I think is best for comedy too. And a lot of people may not agree with me.
Yeah. Comedians have opinions.
Obviously, yeah, difference of opinions is important. And like I think you said this with Ant Smash in the episode that released previous to me showing up. And you said everybody's journey is going to be a little bit different, and my path is not necessarily your path. So my opinion doesn't have to be your opinion. You can say that the networking is not important at all. You can say that the grind and leaving the mics is just as important as the community sometimes, or maybe all the time. I don't need community. I'm doing this by myself. I'm a lone wolf. In Albany, that mentality may not help, but in New York, that mentality may help.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so what else?
What else?
Are we wrapping up?
I think we have to wrap up because
All right.
they close at 7 at 6:36 here now, so I want to give her time to clean up.
Yeah.
This is a fun episode, man. We covered a lot. This is going to be one of our longest episodes.
That's good.
And
That's what I wanted.
It helps that I just figured out how to put 2 chunks together. Which is
Oh,
yeah, as
okay.
opposed to just having to cut a ton of shit out. Make it work. So this is cool.
You're editing this though, aren't you?
You can let me know what you want edited out.
I don't want anything edited.
Oh, okay, cool.
Zero.
Cool. Do you want the before I introed
Sure.
cut out? You want that in there?
I don't even know what we said. Sure.
I don't know.
Leave it in.
I'll send it to you so you can hear it.
You can just
before-
leave it in.
Just leave it in.
I'm never afraid of anything that I said. Like I
Okay.
said,
Yeah,
it's pure honesty.
Live honesty, live moss.
Yes, exactly. And then whatever consequences come from it, let it be.
Yeah, let it be. I dig it. All right, we're gonna exit out of here. Likable is filmed and recorded at Radio Free Rhine Cliff. Thank you to Jen Hamoud and Matthew Rosenberg, our producers, and thank you to the Epicurean, which hosts us for each and every episode. Come in, stop and shop, and maybe you'll catch us on the air. Likable is a comedy-based podcast. We are experts at absolutely nothing and should not be taken seriously. Consider this your daily dose of very questionable wisdom and guaranteed hilarity. We hope. Proceed with caution and a healthy dose of skepticism. Padrick Smith.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And listen to the I Hate When That Happens podcast with Padrick and Kay.
Gutos.
Gutos.
Yes. Padrick Smith and Kay Gutos. I hate when that happens.
Take her last
on-
name.
What?
You take her last
Padrick
name.
Gutos. No. She said she's not changing it. So regardless, we need to stop talking. But follow us. I Hate When That Happens podcast on Instagram, on Spotify, on Apple Music, anywhere podcasts are found. Thank you, David Stickle, for having us. This has been a wonderful time. And you are very likable.
Oh, music. Thanks, dude.
Yes.
Nice little exit there.
Yeah, you got jokes and you're insightful, but are you likable?